Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Okay, not hanging up.
Maybe.
I hope not. All right, we're rolling into it.
Woohoo!
Oh, by the way, if I start looking down at something, I'm still focused. I've been noticing that I do a lot better when I'm doing something with my hands, but yeah, just so you know, I just
Are you
don't
making
want you to think that
bracelets, or
I'm
what
not
are you
listening.
doing over there?
No, I'm not doing anything right now, but yeah,
It's possible.
Maybe.
it's possible.
Might.
It's possible. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we have a guest today, Melanie.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself? How do you like to introduce yourself to folks?
Oh, I don't know. I usually go, I'm Swell Ceramics, and I go, wait, no, I'm Melanie.
Do people call you Swell, or they're like,
They go,
what?
yeah, they go, oh, you're Swell, or sometimes I get Swellany. Which I've leaned
Swellity?
into Swellany. I'm like, I like that one. That one's pretty cool.
That works.
Yeah.
That works.
But yeah, I'm Melanie, and I do Swell Ceramics.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Westheiden.
Westheiden.
German.
I've never
Is it
actually had
German?
to say it, so I see it and I'm like, I don't exactly know how to say that.
Did you hear that I just figured out that was German immediately? Boom.
Nice. I love it.
Nice. Where are you located at?
I'm on the Outer Banks in North Carolina, specifically Nags Head. Yeah.
Is that as like amazing year round as it looks when you go on the beach and all that stuff?
No, it's tough. I mean, it's still really nice, but the winters here weed some people out for sure. It's just like cold and windy and dreary and everything's closed.
Hold
there's
up.
not a snowbird
What's
city.
cold?
No. Yeah, okay, cold is like 40.
Okay.
Okay, I mean that's pushing it. I mean we're not Canadians here. We're not saying cold and we're like 40s nothing, but it's like, we're not pushing zero or anything like that.
Yeah, no. I would be a big baby if so. To me, that's cold. And then the wind is just like 30 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour.
Okay, that can get pretty cold at 40 degrees.
The wind makes it tough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's still pretty sweet though. I mean, it's still the beach, so just bundle up and go outside anyway.
Is it like warm enough to go swimming at the beach? Like from when to when? When can we swim?
I'll just go like April to October.
Okay.
Because I like it, but some people won't get into like June or July. That's when the water really warms up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it depends if we get a hurricane, how long you can swim. Usually once a hurricane comes in like September, that's kind of the end.
Okay.
Of warm water season.
Are there, and I'm not as familiar with the Outer Banks. I've never been there or anything. I'm guessing there's like an intercoastal and then there's the actual ocean. Is that?
Yeah. We call it the Sound.
Okay.
Sound.
That sounds pretty chill and kind of calm. Is that
it's like not really waves. Like if there's waves in the Sound, it's an icky, windy day. And then it connects to the ocean like at an inlet. You have 2 inlets. And they connect.
Do people, I would guess people fish in the Sound, but they don't? Okay.
And you can fish in the ocean, different. The Sound is freshwater, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure the Sound is freshwater.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sounds are where the fresh water from the mountains meet the ocean.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
I think that sounds pretty close.
But there's a lot of boats going through it and stuff, right? So there's probably not a lot of people swimming in there?
Not in the inlet. I wouldn't swim in the inlet. It's really currenty and dangerous. But people swim in the Sound and swim in the ocean. The Sound's for me, it's a little icky. I think it's a little gross. I don't like to swim in the Sound. But
oh, really?
I think that's fair.
Yeah, it just doesn't move very much.
I think I kind of related it to the Fort Lauderdale. I used to travel there for work all the time, and there's an intercoastal which I think is the same thing you're talking about. And there's just a lot of like restaurants and things like that along it. So there's a lot of boat docks and things
no,
that
it's
are
not
accessible for that kind of thing, but it's not. There's not people
we're a little
doing
more
a lot
small
of.
town than that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went to school in UNC Wilmington, and it was like that. They had the Intercoastal Waterway with all the like activities and stuff on it, and all the boat traffic and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know Nala's hurt right now, but do you still go to the beach a lot? You would normally go with Nala quite a bit, but
yeah, I haven't been.
You can't just say Nala like everybody knows who Nala is.
Okay, who is Nala?
Nala is my baby. Nala is my dog. She's just like 60 pounds of beefy goofball. She's like totally the Swell Ceramics studio mascot. She comes to work with me and like barks at all the customers that come in. If you're lucky, she won't bark at you. But yeah, she's my little shop greeter employee of the month. She broke her leg like 2 weeks ago. So
no.
That's been my whole life. The last 2 weeks.
What a good time of year for that to happen.
I know, it's like
the
at least
slowest time of the year. I mean, I guess that's, I don't know. I guess she's less active at this time of year, but
yeah, I just haven't gone to the beach. I don't know. I feel bad leaving her.
Yeah.
I have another dog, Abby, and I'll take her for a walk sometimes, but I like try to sneak out.
Wait, there's another dog that I don't know about. This other dog.
Abby's not like, she's not on the Instagrams really. She's like, get the phone away from me. I don't want my picture taken.
So wait, was that your fiance's dog, or is that just another family dog, or what?
No, she's my fiance's dog.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but her and Nala are besties. They get along great.
Oh, that's good.
But Abby does not. She's like, as soon as you take out the phone and take a picture of her, she's like, bye.
Not as photogenic or not as enthusiastic with the Instagram.
Yeah, but she comes to the shop too. She doesn't bark at you. She's a nice girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been doing ceramics? I know I've been following you for quite a while, but I don't know kind of the inception of where you started and kind of how you got into it.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I was doing the math before we started. I was like, how long has it been? I took my first class in 2014. It was like hand building. It was like the first one you take in college. And immediately I was like totally hooked. And I was like, this is changing my major. This is what I'm doing.
What was your major before that?
It's always art, but it was like I was concentrated in photography.
Okay, I could do
wedding photography, like graduating to be a wedding photographer on the Outer Banks, and then I got a job doing that, and I was like, I don't like this.
So you were like an assistant to somebody doing event photography?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not that much of a people person. And then I took my ceramics class, and I was like, yeah, I could do this, and that was it. And then I officially started the business in 2017. It's been about almost 7 years now in business.
Wow. Has it felt like that long?
No. Sometimes it feels like forever. And sometimes I'm like, what do you mean I've been a business owner for 7 years? I'm not qualified for that.
None of us are.
Well, I feel like it was kind of split, right? You were sort of in your own space for, I don't know if it was half of it or more than half of it, and then you've been in the studio space that's more a retail / studio for a bit as well.
Yeah. In 2017, I was in my parents' house. My dad gave me a little corner in his garage. I mean, it was like probably like 4 foot by 4 foot. It was so small. He was like, this is where you can work. And my mom let me put my kiln in her pantry. And then
in the pantry, I've never heard of that.
She had to take all the food out. It kept melting.
This must have been a big ass pantry for a kiln to fit in.
It was pretty nice size. Yeah. Now it's like pantry / storage closet. You know, it's like a random room downstairs. So she let me put it in there, and I think I did that for like a year. And once I took it full time in 2018, I like quickly outgrew that. My parents were kind of like, Like, you don't have to move out, but the studio kind of has to go. And then I found a house with a garage, and I was like, well, I'll just move and I'll take the studio with me. And I was there for 2 years. That was cool. That was house was like almost sound front. It was like one house back from the sound, which was like so awesome until the studio almost flooded one time.
Oh gosh.
I think it was like Hurricane Matthew, maybe. And then I was like, okay, time to move. And after that was when I got the studio I'm in now. Been there for about 4 years.
Okay. Yeah, I started following you when you were in the garage studio.
Yeah.
And it was probably right in the thick of it, I think. That sounds about right. 2018, something like that. 2018, 19. Okay.
Yeah.
So how is that like going into it full time? Did you what were your like plans or goals? Like what were you hoping to achieve? Like did you know it was going to be a full-time thing, or were you just pursuing it kind of and just seeing what happened?
I always knew I wanted to have my own business because my parents are entrepreneurs. And I later learned my grandparents were also entrepreneurs. So it had been a goal of mine to have it be full-time. I thought it would be like 5 years. That was like my 5-year goal, take my business full-time. And it happened. It happened in like 10 months.
So were you working otherwise during that, or you were just fucking going at it because you were at your parents' house? And
no, when I was at my parents' house, I had like 3 or 4 jobs at one point, and then I just like slowly dwindled them down until like one day my parents sat me down and they were like, "It's time for you to go full time and quit this job." Yeah. It was like back then I took orders, and it was like I couldn't take orders because I had to go to my job, which was I worked at the SPCA, so that was really fun, but I was sad to see that one go. But I was like, you're right, guys. So I went in and I quit that, or just like put in my notice that day.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So was your parents doing that because they knew, like, they had the entrepreneurial thing? They're like, they know what it takes to do something like that full time.
Yeah, and sometimes I just need a nudge in the right direction. I'll be like, it's just scary, I'm not ready. And they're like, no, you're ready. It's okay, you can do it.
That's good to have that support system, I think.
I definitely, I
would suspect
give a lot of credit.
Parents, or a lot of parents, probably are very reluctant and very nervous for children going into this line of work with the level of ups and downs.
Yeah.
I had a friend that did that to me. I had like a rough day at work, and I like came to her house and I was like crying, like that's how rough it was.
Oh no.
And she was like, how much money you got? And I was like, this much money. And she was like, all right, you're just going in, all in, let's go. And here we are.
Here you are. That's awesome. It's not awesome you had to cry after work, but that's awesome you made it here. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I know. Yeah. I don't know. You got to try, and if it works, it works.
Yep.
So you were getting some traction online and getting orders that way, and that was that's where your making to selling kind of was happening, was just through online ways of going about it, or was it local markets and things like that?
It's a little bit of both. My first year, I think it was 2017, I tried like all the local, well, not all, I tried a lot of the local art shows to like figure out which ones worked and which ones didn't. And I think I was also selling online at the time. And so it's kind of been online and in person since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably focused more on in person in the beginning because you can't show up to an art show with like 10 pieces. So it's always like keeping my stock for the art show.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, and then that was crazy doing all those art shows while I was also working my like 3 or 4 jobs was like, whew. I think I quickly dropped a couple of the jobs, and then was able to like focus more on the art shows, but that was still so many art shows. So then like in 2018 I like cut way back on the art shows. I figured out which ones worked for me and which ones didn't.
Okay. So when you made that decision to go from the garage studio to a retail space, or maybe you didn't intend on it being a retail space at that time, how did you decide, like what was going through your mind of, financial side of things as well as just like the potential there, kind of what was your thought process going into that?
Yeah, so it was like actually motivated by personal reasons. I was moving in with Willie, my fiance now. And so it was like I was moving out of that house. So the studio couldn't come to his house. There was nowhere for it. So it needed to go somewhere. And I could have like rented out the bedrooms upstairs and kept the garage, but there was no bathroom downstairs, so that would have been weird. I didn't want to be responsible for all that. So I had
You mean
actually
at the
looked at,
old house, if you were to
yeah,
have departed from that, but still like rented just the studio area?
yeah, that would have just been not
Yeah,
my
that would have been kind of
favorite.
weird, right?
Yeah, I'd be like, can I come upstairs and go to the bathroom? But yeah, and then so the studio I'm in now, it's in a little shopping center. It's pretty small. It's like maybe 20 units. I had actually looked at this place before I found my house with the garage, but it wasn't right at the time. And now that's where I ended up, which I think is really cool. Like when the
How big
time
is
was
it? How
right.
many square feet is it?
I think it's like 800 or 850.
That sounds manageable.
It's nice. I like it. It was funny when I moved in, I had all this space and my dad was like, give it a year and you'll have it all filled up and you'll need some more space. And he was right. He was right. It's like full of crap everywhere. I'm like, I need more space.
That's why I like small studio spaces, because it makes you like put everything in a certain place.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had a 3,000 square foot studio space and it's awful. It's awful when you eventually leave, because you're like, what, where did all this come from?
How did I get all this stuff?
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I didn't, so yeah, I needed a space to go, and the retail store was just kind of a bonus. It wasn't like I did it to have a retail store, but I do love the retail store now. But I got it and then COVID happened. So I was closed, which was just a whole thing.
Right. So you just got to kind of be like heads down working in there and making product and
yeah
figuring out how you wanted to go from there.
Yeah.
Is it a decently traveled shopping center, or is it kind of a people have to want to go there?
It's on the main road, which helps, but it used to be like historically it's been an antique mall and there's still like two big antique stores in it. So there's like a huge sign that says antique mall. So people who come aren't really coming to like buy brand new pottery, But it's decently traffic, but I didn't want one with a ton of traffic. There was one available when I was looking a space. It was right next to like a main grocery store, and I was like, I would go crazy if it was that busy all the time. So it's like medium busy, which I like. But it's usually people seeking me out.
There was a business that one of the old shops that I consigned with, they were actually in kind of like a small town main street, and then they moved to a big shopping center area where there's a ton of big shops like TJ Maxx and shopping like grocery stores and stuff like that. And it was just one of those things where like there's so much hustle and bustle and people want to like get in and get out. They don't want to like go and shop small at one of those type of places, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it made it really tough for them to kind of get that customer base. Plus, it was like way different part of town than where they were before. It was like 30 minutes in a different direction.
Big change.
So it was way different.
Change. Yeah.
They actually closed in the last year or so, but yeah. And so going into it, the space and the rent and everything, you've been able to plan accordingly to like be able to meet those demands and also stay productive enough without just making it work, I guess.
Yeah, my dad's always taught me like from a young age you got to spend money to make money. which like was a hard concept for me to grasp when I was like, I don't have any money. But so yeah, like the studio, I mean, it kind of ended up like paying for itself because I was able to make more stuff and be more efficient, so it just kind of like went hand in hand. And then also my like relationship with my work got a lot better when it was in my garage. I did love working from home, but it quickly like got out of control where it was like I was just waking up and being in the studio until I went to bed like 7 days a week and not having a social life. And I do think like the work I put in that time helped me like build the following and like base that I have. And then I was able to like with the new studio space set more like work boundaries and not be at work all the time and like leave work at work. So then when I'm at work, I'm actually more productive than I was.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So what's your work schedule now?
It's kind of like Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 or 5. Sometimes holiday season's worse. Holiday season's extra, but yeah. Pretty like normal job hours almost.
Right.
Yeah.
And then do you have other people that help in the studio and that like maintain the gallery or the retail shop when you're not there on the like because I would guess weekends are probably an option for some people coming through there?
Yeah. I was open last year. A year or two ago, I had 2 employees. And one girl, restart. I was open on Saturdays for a while, and I had Megan doing them, and then a year or two ago, I had Carmen working for me, and she was doing Saturdays. And then I learned I don't like managing people, so I went back down to just Megan. I learned that because like Carmen was like the perfect employee, and I was still like, I can't manage 2 people,
including yourself.
Including myself. It was like
it
stressed me out. I was like clenching my jaw all the time. It was terrible. I was like, I'm not cut out for this.
Were they dedicated to pretty much only running the retail space so that you could be busy doing other stuff while they were maintaining that, or were they helping in the studio practice as well?
They were helping in the studio, definitely. I had Carmen helping me produce stuff on the wheel. And Megan does a lot of my hand building. Megan still works for me, and Megan does my like mixes my glazes, preps my clay. She keeps the studio clean. She does most of the hand building, and she helps like all the other small tasks. And my mom's also she's just.
I was gonna say I gotta hear about your mom here because I feel like she's a vital part.
Mama Swell is on a volunteer basis until I can afford to pay her what she deserves. And she does also a lot of cleaning. My mom does the retail space. She like sets it up, keeps it straight, keeps it stocked, keeps it all looking nice. When people come in, she's usually the one checking them out.
She's probably your best customer service person, I would suspect.
She's always
glowing reviews.
Up. Yes.
Knows the best way to talk about the work and knows how to play up the features of everything.
Yeah, and it's funny, people are always like, oh, so it's your business. And she's like, nope, it's my daughter's back there. She's on the wheel, it's her business. And she just loves, like, bragging on me. It's so nice.
That's great.
But yeah. And then, Megan works at night. She used to work during the day, but she got a full-time regular job. So she comes after hours. And okay. She's like my little fairy in the night who just comes and does stuff.
That's pretty nice though. You can show up and there's stuff done.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And you can kind of work independently. It's not because I typically work in my assistants here while I'm here, which is good socially.
Yeah.
But I've had assistants that work during the day while I'm working my job. I mean, it can be interrupting either way, but I kind of like the option to have the differences, but it kind of depends on the work style and the personalities of both of you and how you prefer to work.
It was fun when she works during the day, but it works both ways. I like it when we run into each other in passing.
Yeah, and I would guess the studio's big enough that you can probably work independently in the same physical space, and you're not bumping
Yeah.
into each other necessarily.
Most of the time, yeah. Once you get all three of us, me, my mom, and Megan in there, we'd be bumping into each other. But that's more of just because the retail space takes up about a third of my space. But it's still plenty of room. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking recently about getting back into it after the holidays and being kind of burned out after the holidays.
Goodness.
How's I guess what was kind of leading you to the burnout and like feeling like that? Was it just typical holiday stuff or anything different?
It was different this year. This year was different. Usually it is just in the past it's just been I push myself too hard for the holidays and I'm just burnt out, after and I need some couple weeks to recuperate. This year it was like I was like, do I even want to make pottery anymore? I've done a lot of thinking. I think what I came up with is that I live at the beach. I'm Swell Ceramics. I like beachy stuff, but it's like I've been making the same things for a while now, and I want to make some new designs, and all I could think of was beachy things, and I just felt kind of stuck in that, and I just didn't have any new beachy ideas. I had other ideas, but they weren't beachy, so I wasn't letting myself do them, which just led to a lot of resentment, I think. And then
how much of the customer base are beach based? Or do you think people seek you out because they want that experience of like the beach because that's where you're physically located and that's what your inspiration is versus I don't live here, but I want that kind of like peace in my life?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like people want a piece of the beach. Like people have said I use this when I miss the beach and stuff like that. Which is super cool. I love that. I was just want something a little bit different. So I just let myself make what I wanted, which was checkered stuff. And I did that last week and I just went crazy. I glazed everything that was on the bisqueware cart in checkers. And so I'm excited again. And they're still kind of beachy. I mean, I did my waves on one, so it's not a complete total shift. But I just
Oh, I like them.
Thanks. I'm super stoked about them.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. I like the plate that you did
like
with
them.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of busted me out of my burnout. But and then also, of course, the day I was about to be freed from my burnout was the day Nala broke her leg. So that just took a little extra time for me to get out of the house and into the studio.
Becca, it's funny on this side, I see you frozen and your hands are just stuck right here. Do you see that?
I do too.
Oh, I'm sorry that I'm frozen. Can you still hear me? I'll turn off my video.
You should toggle the video on and off because it just looks like you're just sitting there and then you were like, I love them. I'm like, what?
I was like, how does she see them?
Oh, I'm really really confused about I'm in a really affluent area affluent, I think is the right word, area of California. It's in Tustin, California, which is really rich people. We went to a mall yesterday and some lady wouldn't go into the bathroom stall because there was the toilet seat covers were on the floor. There was some on the floor. And not one person wouldn't go in there, but two people wouldn't go in there.
Oh no.
Within that time. And we had kids, so it's we're whatever. And moving to the side. But it's just anyway, that has nothing to do with the fact that but the thing is you would expect this very affluent area to have extremely good reception. And it doesn't. It doesn't where my friend's house is has awful reception. And so I'm down the street, and I was here the last podcast we did, and it was fine. And now it's deciding that it doesn't want to be fine. So I don't know what to do.
Okay, we were just hanging out with you like this for a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're back like
this. Just like that. So with Oh, I just started a sentence and I was trying to remember where I was going with it.
With the checkers?
It wasn't checker related. I think it was. Oh, I know what it was. So how do you kind of prepare for the holidays so that I don't know if you try to avoid the burnout or if you have got to a point where you've went through so many holiday seasons of what you are capable of and what you want to take advantage of. How do you kind of gauge what's within reason for you?
Yeah, so I think 2 years ago I did it for the first time. Every kiln load, I took like one or two pieces and put it away in a cabinet. And we called it the
Throughout the whole
squirrel
year?
throughout the whole year, yeah. And we called it the squirrel pile because we were squirreling it away. So it'd be like, oh, this mug's for the squirrel. That made it fun too.
You
And
should make little acorns or something so like it's
that would be
truly.
so cute. Put the little acorns in there with them. I love it. And yeah, that helped so much though. To like,
Were they
I'm gonna.
like middle to were they like above average to like top quality pieces or were they kind of like middle of the road so it could span any time of the year, or how did you pick those pieces?
How did I pick those pieces? It was normally like, oh, so I manage like three. Well, with that, it's four. I manage like 3 to 4 inventories. So I have my shop, I have my art shows, and I have the website. And so I try to like divide things evenly. And so like if I had 4 mugs that were the same, I'd
Mhm.
put the fourth one in the squirrel pile.
Oh, okay, so pretty
Yeah,
evenly dividing all of it.
I did my best, and I try the like, like the seconds and stuff. I just try to like move those immediately,
Hmm.
unless there's like a whole kiln that's just seconds, and they just get divided up evenly, and some go in the squirrel pile.
Do the
But that,
seconds you sell only in person, or
I try. Sometimes I put them online,
okay,
but I prefer to do it in person if I can, because then you can really see it. But
right?
everything I define as seconds, people are like, "Why?" They're like, "I
Yeah,
don't care," and I was like, "But I care."
seconds for some of us is like to them they don't know the difference, but
Yeah,
seconds can also look pretty shitty to some people, and they're like, wow, that ran, like a dribble ran all the way down and it puddled, and then you just sand it off. It's like,
yeah.
yes, it's sellable.
That one just like depends on my mood for the day. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I would have declared this seconds last time. I was like, I don't care today. I think it's fine.
Oh, yeah. There's a very fine line between a second and a sellable piece, especially when it's in person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were storing them away the whole year, and you were kind of mixing up like, okay, I want some mugs and I want some bowls or whatever throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then that gave you additional stock for just to handle the supply you needed.
Yeah, so we tried to like leave it until Christmas for like a web restock, but if someone came in the shop and they wanted something and we didn't have it, we'd be like, let's go check the squirrel pile. And we like just pull it that way. And then even last year we were even more loosey goosey with it. My mom was just like, we're out of this mug. I'm going in the squirrel cabinet.
There you go.
Um,
Let me go
so is
check
it
in the back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll be like, let me go check the squirrel pile. And I'm like, people don't know what I'm saying.
Did you
I'm
check
like,
the
you can
squirrel or
see, right. Oh, yeah, and that just alleviated a lot of the pressure off of me versus like, I know like in the past holiday seasons, it's like, oh my God, I don't have any seafoam mugs left and I have an art show like in 2 days. And so now it's just like, if I really need something, I just could
okay.
grab it from the back stock. It just takes all the pressure
I
off.
like that. It's like a little ongoing reserve pile. You're just in case. It's your
Just in
emergency
case.
reserves, yeah.
Yeah. I call it my little sanity.
Okay.
And then
Okay, but
sometimes I'll just
if you ever call it a backstock again, I'm gonna get mad because it has to be called the squirrel pile.
squirrel pile forever.
Yes.
And I wanna at least put a little picture of a squirrel on it. I wanna make some acorns, that'd be cute.
Yeah.
A little ceramic acorn in there.
You know what'd be
So
funny is if you made like tiny, tiny acorns and then if at the end of the year, like you did a squirrel pile sale and they all came with itty bitty acorns.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I want to do it.
Or you should have them, like, I don't know if you could have a big planter and you plant the little acorns and they have to dig and pick one out. And
Yeah,
they're all glazed differently, so they only get one, maybe.
I'm going to write this in my notes because I love it. I don't want to forget.
Wait.
Acorns.
What if the acorns had numbers on them? And I know we're making this a lot, but like, what if the acorns had numbers on them, and then the numbers corresponded with a mug, and then that's the one they got. It would be like a squirrel pile mystery sale that they have to dig for the acorn.
That would be fun. I love it. I wrote it down.
It sounds kind of like the. Do you remember? I don't know if you've seen this. I think. I want to say another Seattle artist, but I thought she read Silver Linings. Katie Marks. She did or maybe it was Make Good Choices.
Make Good
was it
Choices.
Alex? Make Good Choices. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she had the gumball machine and she had a bunch of little minis in there and they corresponded to different numbers and you could do like little acorn drawing and you do like a, drawing and people get it and you claim you get whatever the piece is, but they're all maybe they're a standard price point or something, but
yeah. I love that. I think
that's a fun idea.
That sounds really fun. Yeah, I'm trying to have more fun this year. I took myself too seriously last year.
Yeah.
We just be fun and be silly. So the acorn's probably definitely gonna happen.
So I made some notes from a long time ago when I was like thinking about having you, and I said different lines of work, and I said turtles, marbling, Nala cups, planters, horizons. Like, do you still have a good decent cross section of types of work and designs you're doing these days that keeps you kind of?
I do. It's hard to have them all. I will probably never have everything all at the same time, but I do like to rotate back and forth between things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'll make a batch of turtle mugs and then I probably won't make them again for several months, or same thing, like Nala mugs, Southwestern stuff. I'll just make a bunch and then that's kind of it. And then I'll revisit it in a couple weeks or months. Yeah. It's never planned. It's just when I get an inkling to do it, or if enough people have been I want this. I'll be okay, I should really make some of those.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it would be good just for people's sanity to keep mixing it up so that you don't get creatively stuck.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Yeah, it helps a lot. And then it's well, I'm learning to slow down now, but usually I wanted to work fast and make a lot all at once. So it's I'd spend a couple hours carving turtle mugs, and whatever I didn't have time to carve would be turned into just a regular glazed thing.
Mm-hmm.
Versus going all in on one design.
Right, because some of it you just can't physically handle carving 50 mugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the time you have allotted. And I would guess there's a lot of different clay bodies too, because the turtles are a darker clay, right? And you've got Southwestern, and those marbled ones are a bunch of different clays.
Yeah, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 or 5 different clay bodies in the studio, which is
wow, that's a lot.
Which is insanity.
Have you always had that many?
Pretty much since I started the Southwestern stuff, which I started in 2017. Yep. I started that after I went to Utah in 2016. Yeah, I guess I've always had a bunch of clay bodies. I just don't know any better. And I'm let's try a new one. Let's add number 6 to the mix.
Let's add one and not remove another one.
Yeah.
But they all fit together okay?
Yeah, that was pure luck. I didn't know about shrinkage rates when I did that, and I just did it and it worked. And then one time I tried the red clay I get, it comes from California, which is just, the whole opposite side of America. So it's hard to get. It's very expensive to ship. So I tried to get a cheaper one that was closer, and that was when I learned about shrinkage rates. I lost the whole kiln load.
Oh
some
no.
stuff.
What?
Yeah.
What clay is it?
It's Hawaiian by Laguna. Hawaiian
By
Red.
Laguna.
I love it. It was like the most similar to the Utah rocks when I picked them
So
out.
they make that in California, not in their plant in Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh. See, I don't know about the different clay bodies that are available in different parts of the country. I get the Laguna 608, which is a speckled tan kind of, but that's made in Ohio, so it's like okay, it's reasonable. But I didn't realize there's a whole bunch of clay bodies that are not made.
I didn't either. They were like, well, they don't make that one here. And I was like, what?
How did you get it initially, though?
I just, I think, can you order on Laguna's website now? This was like back in the day, you had to like find a third party seller and be like, hey, I want this. And then they'd order it and like drop ship it to your house.
Oh, okay. So
So
you were
that's
just
still
getting
how
a
it
box or
goes.
something like that, and
Yeah, I didn't use it like, I only use it in the marbling because it's so hard to get and expensive. So I don't do it by itself.
What was the other clay that you tried?
I want to say it was Sheltawee by Kentucky Mudworks.
That's the one I was gonna suggest.
I
what are all the
shade,
other clays? Are they all Laguna clays, pretty much?
Of course, they can't come from the same place either. I can't. I get have bunkum white from high water clay. I don't really use that very
That's probably the
often.
closest to you is high water, I would suspect, right? That's
Yeah. Yeah. So I have high
Asheville
water
area.
clay. There's one I get from Kentucky Mudworks, and there's one from Standard.
You just
And Laguna.
you just got that cross section of all the companies.
I was like, I like complicated things. I don't know.
I think that do I have it here? I think that Laguna came out with a smooth red. They might be making it in I want to say it's B-Mix red, and they might be making it in Ohio.
Ooh.
It's new.
That sounds better.
Let me just check my backstock. Yeah, it's a Cone 5 smooth red. I'll bet you it has pretty much the same shrinkage rate as that Hawaiian.
Sweet. I'm gonna have to try it. That would be great if it didn't have to come from California. And the red I use, it has literal sand in it. It's literally sand for grog.
That's probably nice.
It's nice. It hurts.
Oh yeah, and then when you trim it, it's like
a mess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is like smooth, and I had a friend that uses it and she loves it. So.
Yeah, B-Mix is really smooth. So a red B-Mix, I would suspect that'd be pretty nice.
Yeah.
The only other Laguna one I've used that's red is called Redstone. It's WC420 Redstone. It throws. It throws. It says it's got medium grog with minimal, but I thought it was pretty smooth from what I remember.
Yeah.
Warm brick red color.
I think this one's 465, so it's in the same family at least.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I like Dark Star from Kentucky Mudworks. That's my new favorite. That's like buttery green.
Yeah, Becca loves that
one. That's my clay too.
I love that one.
Wait, which ones do you do in that? I don't. Is that your?
I think I only do morning wash in it, which is like the white with the blue stripe.
The white with the blue stripe.
Oh,
okay.
Then, yeah.
Wait, the blue stripe, not the ones that's blue on the top and the bottom with the white in the middle.
Well, that one too. Yeah, that one too.
Okay. So I would guess there's certain glaze combos that work well on certain clays and not on others.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen some of your
simple.
some of your seconds posts where you show like the pinhole craziness and the oh.
Yes.
And the thing is, the changing of clays is so. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but it seems so daunting to switch clay bodies.
Like altogether, or just like from day to day?
like all together, because if you were to change out, like, okay, what if you tried this clay, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, well that glaze combo is fucked now. I can't use like it doesn't
That's
work.
how I've ended up with so many different colors because I'm like, well, that one doesn't work on this, but I want to keep it, so I guess I'll just keep both clay bodies.
Yeah. In the
I mean,
southwestern ones, did you have issues with glazes? Because most of those are left unglazed, or the marbled ones.
Yeah, I just know the glaze because I don't glaze the whole cup. Okay, I'm drinking out of one. I just glaze the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick the color based on the top clay color. So if the top of it was brown, I wouldn't put this color on it.
Because it's not going to be a safe glaze to do with it.
Yeah.
What about the inside, though? Is the inside typically a pretty solid color?
Typically, yeah, because I don't wipe all the slip out. The slip gives you a nice little barrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Also, sometimes I just don't use risky glazes on them. Sometimes I just leave the risky ones in the bucket. I'm like, we're not even going to play with these today.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, I've got a number of glazes, but when I find a good combo, I'm like, okay, I can like adapt this slightly, but I don't have to get too crazy. I don't have to change out my color palette every year, every couple of years. It's like, if they're solid, and you can just make more forms and apply that glaze to it. And
yeah, I'm all about that, because formulating a glaze and getting everybody to get along is such a pain.
Do you still get questions about glaze combos all the time?
Not really. I think I scared everybody away.
How did you handle that? How frequent was it happening? I know that was such a huge thing. I don't know if it was because of back in the day when it was more photo centric that people were just all on top of just asking for glaze combos.
Yeah, it's definitely that. I definitely think that. I don't know how to answer that without going on a tangent.
Let's go on a tangent.
Oh, I just love tangents. We love tangents.
Let's get into this, because I think people get asked this all the time and they don't know how to nicely say no, or also have something that's reasonable that doesn't come off like you're being an asshole.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't feel this way anymore. I felt this way like a few years ago. Or I don't know.
It's okay if you still feel this way, but what? Yeah.
I don't feel this way like so much now, but it could be because I dealt with it before. I don't know. Just like people have no boundaries sometimes on Instagram. They're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna ask you like 20,000 questions," and I'm like, "Well, I'd love to help you, but like, these are things you see more yourself." I don't know. I just got very overwhelmed a while ago with all the questions and people being like, well, how do you do that? How do you do this? And I'm like, I spent 3 years trying to figure out the answer to that question, and I don't really want to just hand it over to somebody who didn't even say hi to me first.
That's big. That's big, that whole hi situation.
Yeah, I'm like,
I hate
I am
that.
a person. Yeah, I just don't, if you don't say hi first, I don't respond. If it's a question like that.
You just leave it unread?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm like, sorry, I'm a person.
Were you getting most of the... I would see some of it through public comments on posts, but were you getting just as many or more through DMs?
Yeah, I would get a lot in DMs. People don't ask anymore. Yeah. I think a long time ago, like, set the boundary. I was like, please stop. And
I feel like you almost need to put it in your bio. Like people say no wholesale, no commissions. You almost need to say no glaze recipes or something.
Well, now it's good. I've switched to like mostly formulating. I've mixed my own. I don't come up with a recipe. I have one that I made the recipe. But so I'll just be like, oh, it's a recipe I found on Glazy, and that's all I give.
Good luck.
I sifted through all these glazes on Glazy, and I found the one that I like, and I was like, maybe if you do the same, you'll find one that you like as well.
Yeah, and one of the things is it's so clay dependent, like you're talking about with the glazes. Mm-hmm. There's no guarantee that it's even going to look the same. Like, a lot of it has to do with the viscosity and how long you dip it and the clay that it's on. And then they're going to come back to you and be like, look
the same.
It doesn't look like that. How do I get it to look like yours?
Yeah. I have that problem with myself. But then I'm like hesitant to say that because I also am like community over competition. But I think there's like a line of just like helping each other or just like asking for free information, you know?
Hmm.
Oh, I think that's true. I mean, like, me and Ryan are both like big community people, and the whole community over competition situation. But like, but there is a clear, like, there's a moment where you get to, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, like I've had people message me and say, hey, when you come to Seattle or when you come to Texas or when you come to this place, I would love to take you out I would love to have lunch with you so I can pick your brain. And and to those I always say, well, I have a consultation price.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
like, hey, like, I don't meet with strangers for lunch. Like, that's something that's not, if you've never talked to me before this time, it's not like, that's weird. That's uncomfortable for me, to meet with somebody I've never talked to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically going on a blind date with somebody.
Who wants to ask you all the questions you work so hard to figure out.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also it's like I'm more than happy to give those questions to people that actually want to like have a relationship with me in even the smallest form, even just like chatting on Instagram. And then when I come in, they're like, hey, I'd love to just have lunch with you. Like, totally fine. But yeah, but there's definitely a moment where it feels like an overstep.
Yeah. Sometimes that just depends. That changes depending on the mood as well.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
And you don't want to feel like, okay, this is going to be their impression of me and it's going to leave a bad image of me to this person, and they feel like, oh, well, this person's not who I thought they were because they weren't as giving. They're better than me or something because they're not willing to share and they're holding back. But it's like, is this a reasonable ask for me?
That what you said about, well, they're not as nice as I thought they were. I try to be mindful of, like, on the internet, who I think you are, and when you don't live up to who I think you are, that's not your fault. That's my fault. Kind of not fault, but being aware of that. So I'm like, well, if they don't think this is, like, I don't know, just like, I know it's true to myself. Sometimes, some things. That makes sense.
And when you get to, and you manage your social media, you get to decide what information you put out there and you don't. And you're also giving that information for free. Essentially, you're spending time to put together the content you want to put out and share with people. And, I'm sure you answer a bunch of questions and comments when they ask you, hey, what are you doing there? Or how are you doing that? Or where it's relevant to the topic at hand. It's not just like, hey, what's your glaze combo there?
Yeah. I definitely, I like to like help people and stuff. But direct questions with no like previous relationship or acknowledgement of me, I just don't respond to. And then it's also, I try to limit how much time I spend on social media and Instagram. And so it's like, I have like 45 minutes a day, and I'm like, do I want to spend this answering all these questions or like making posts?
Yeah. That's pretty good discipline. If you limit to 45 minutes, that's pretty good.
I mean, I try. I'm always like, 15 more minutes.
My reminder is set for 2 hours.
It used to be.
And I fucking blow past it.
I worked myself down because it's not that I'm on there working. I'm just on there scrolling, watching reels and funny ha-has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself, how do you time box that? Do you set it as kind of a reward for yourself and set a timer, or do you just, I find it hard not to just start my day and be on there for 30 minutes quickly.
Yeah, I did that today. I ran out of time before I even got to work. I was like, great. I don't have a system. I just take it day by day and we see what happens. Sometimes day.
Your audio cut out there for a second. What'd you say?
Yeah. I said I don't have a system. It's just kind of day to day. And
Okay.
sometimes it's just like sometimes I give up and I say approve all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find myself when I'm working my day job and I complete a little task, even if I get to a stopping point, I kind of reward myself with it. So it feels like I don't know if I'm seeking out that like dopamine hit or whatever of. And then I have to intentionally put my phone on do not disturb, like work mode.
Yeah.
But I can't put it too far away because a lot of the things that I do for work, I have to two-factor authenticate with my phone. So it makes it difficult to just put the phone on the other side of the room while I'm working so that I'm focused. And it's like,
it's a tough balance.
It's really difficult. I would guess if your hands are in clay, it's a little easier, but
this psychopath has notifications on for Instagram.
Not everybody.
You, Ryan?
I do, but I don't have it for everybody. I think I marked it as just friends commenting. I have notifications for it.
I could never.
My notifications haven't been on for Instagram in years.
Or I think DMs maybe. Some DMs I will get notified of.
Can you pick certain DMs, like certain people?
I believe it's that granular. I know for the comments and the likes and things like that, I can set that to be only friends that like posts or only friends that comment. I believe it's that granular for comments. But DMs, I don't know if it's if it's on Do Not Disturb, obviously you're not going to see it. But if it's regular, I want to say you could probably do DMs where if it's in the primary folder, it will show it. But if it's in the general folder, it won't show any of those in notifications.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's
how do you do with that? How do you do having your notifications on?
How do I have them on at all?
How's your mental health?
Yeah,
how's your mental health?
I mean, I think the main thing is I want to, if it's messages, I want to respond to them or at least read them. I don't know. I mean, it's difficult because some of it is like peers and friends, and some of it's like businesses. If it's I'm talking with a speedball or some partner or whatever, and I need to respond to them. But I kind of want those to be handled through email, not through DMs, because it's really hard to respond to those because I constantly see them, and it's hard to find them if there's a lot of contact throughout the day. So but the comments too, some of it if it's a thoughtful comment and it's not just like emojis, I do want to at least acknowledge it. And if it's a question, I want to answer it. And the only way to do that is if you go to the notifications and you scroll and actually answer them like chronologically. You kind of got to respond to them as you see them, or else you're going to lose it. So,
I just do that all at once. I'll just sit down and like go through my comments and go through my DMs.
Yeah, I think
it's not right away. Sometimes people wait like 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they at least group it. I think they used to have a setting where they didn't group the likes per post, and it was just individual line items per like, and it was like, I can't go through what the fuck am I going to do with this?
Well, I think that's what it was like when I had it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't have notifications for most things on my phone. It's not just Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say email takes a lot of time too. Like I'm definitely a leave things unread until I act on them. So my unread, my unread's not ridiculous. It's like 18 unread. It's not thousands, but that means I've actually seen everything except the 18 that I need to do something with.
Yeah, need to deal with. Look, I was gonna show you. I have this app. It's called 1 Sec, and every time I go to open Instagram, it asks me what my intention is. I don't know how to, and it makes me wait. And then I click continue, and it makes me pick why. It says why. And the number of times I put my phone down after opening this, it saves me a lot.
What kind of whys are on there? Is it different based on the app that you're trying to open?
You can customize it. It's very customizable. So it has bored, stressed, tired, procrastinating, anxious, toilet, sitting on the toilet.
Toilet. And then it's gonna make you wait like 15 seconds. Does it change the wait
It
time
already
depending on what
waited.
you
I
pick?
like waited before I picked this.
Oh.
And then I added like check DMs, post a reel, post a story, you know.
Oh, so when
you
you click one of those, does it auto jump to that section of the app?
No, it just, what is my password?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Of course, I've hit my time limit. Sometimes it'll like put a little pin on the side of the screen, and it's like, you got on Instagram to post a reel. So it's like trying to remind you of why you got on the app, so you don't get distracted.
Oh, okay. I kind of like that.
It saves me a lot.
What's it called? What's it called?
1 sec, like 1 second, but 1 sec. And you can make it like 1 second, you can make it up to 60 seconds. Then it makes you wait.
Wow.
It is so annoying. I have it set for like 6 seconds. It drives me nuts.
Okay.
But it works. It's supposed to be annoying.
I mean, I would guess it's also going to give you a report at the end of the week, and you can see like you spend most of your time doing this, and
yeah, it has a lot of features on there that I don't use. I just use it to like make me not open Instagram every 5 seconds.
So how long have you been using it for?
Probably like 6 months.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It works really well. Well, for me.
I mean, that sounds like a good barrier to keep yourself from doom scrolling
yeah, it was
just going
scrolling.
in. I mean, yeah, the only other thing I've done is move the apps further from the home screen. So I move them a couple pages back so that it makes it harder for me to go to it. But habitually I want to clear the notifications, so I want to get that bubble off of there.
I admire that works for you. That does not work for me.
But I don't know. I mean, some of it I'm like, I gotta at least go to Facebook like once a week at least to see if there's any of my business things that I need to respond to. I don't get as much engagement there, but I feel like I need to at least respond.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
I like to try to respond. I definitely like to try to respond if I can.
We had a question from somebody that I thought you could answer because I know you've done this before, and maybe you have some insight for them.
I'm curious.
So the question was from Punchy Pottery, and it read, do y'all have any insight on making passive income, like stickers, merch, for your pottery business? Is it worth the time and money, or is it a complete waste? My pieces take an insane amount of time to create, but I don't want to make plain old mugs or pieces out of fear I'll lose my audience, so I'm looking at possibly going the merch route. Any advice? Hopefully this makes sense. What have you tried?
I tried t-shirts.
You can't see what she's doing here, but she is shaking her head back and forth from east to west.
No. I tried t-shirts. Don't do t-shirts. Or I hope they work better for you than they did for me.
What did you go like? What did you do for the t-shirts? Did you have a bunch of different designs? Did you come up with the designs? Did you have too many options, or
all of the above? I think I did a t-shirt design competition.
Like, that was a cool idea. I remember that.
It was cool. I like it. I still have those. That was in 2020. I still have some of those t-shirts.
That might have actually influenced the pot swap design contest. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it might have been in the back of my mind. I didn't remember it when we started, but now that you say that, I'm like, I definitely remember her doing a design contest.
It was so cool. It was super fun. I really enjoyed it. It was great, and I loved the shirts that we made. But I think maybe I just thought I was gonna sell way more than I did, so I bought too many.
So how did you frame that contest?
You submit an entry. It could be like a doodle or a complete design. And then I just picked my favorite, which ended up being like 3 designs, so I had to do 2 t-shirts. And then that person got like a free shirt and credit. And yeah. And then one girl, she did Nala. I put Nala on a sticker too. Her design is Naomi.
Yeah, that was cute.
Naomi. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the contest was really fun and people were really excited. So I bought a bunch of shirts and then nobody bought them.
See, that's the thing with the shirts, right? You have to decide, am I gonna order them up front so that I can make the money on the back end and ship it? Or there's some options these days you can do drop ship, which is what we did for Pot Swap, but it's really a gamble. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And then after that, I got into printing my own shirts, which was just like, I wanted some cute Swell Ceramics shirts, so I was like, might as well make a bunch to sell. And then I went down that rabbit hole, and I stayed down that rabbit hole for a while. Now I just have a bunch of blank shirts and printed shirts, and they sell at art shows. That's about it.
Okay. Were they screen printed? So you had the screens and you did the inking and everything like that?
Yeah. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making the designs, but I mean, I guess it's probably, I guess I wouldn't say it's like successful passive income. I'm probably not in the hole anymore, but I'm probably like just peeking out of the hole. Like the money hole, like being, in the negative from doing it. But the stickers are good. Stickers, I've had success with stickers.
Are people generally buying those in the shop, or are you shipping them?
I was shipping them, and then I think I've made too many designs now, and now it's confusing me. For online, they sell really well at art shows. They sell really well in the shop. I don't really sell many stickers online anymore, but I used to.
Mm-hmm. So are they buying them at the markets and stuff? Because like, are they sticking them on water bottles and their surfboard or whatever?
Yeah, like their cars and coolers, and some people just like collect stickers and just keep them.
What do you price a sticker at?
Like it's $3, $3 or $4. Yeah.
And it's like a 3x3 size, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all weatherproof, waterproof. They're really nice. They last a long time. So it's a nice range, like my table starts at $3 and just goes up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a tough thing to decide. And it's also like, do people care to put my brand on some random thing? If it's like a water bottle. I mean, I take the stickers I get and I stick them on my cat litter buckets in my studio where I store my clay. So I just stick them all over that because I don't really have anything that I'm willing to put a sticker on.
Right.
And it's
I just have pile. I have like a whole pile of stickers that I'm scared to commit to put them on anything.
I've been covering the walls of my van with them because because I don't have actual walls. I just have purple insulation, and recently I was like, I should just put all these stickers on the walls. So that's what I do.
It's fun. That sounds fun.
I mean, it's okay. The thing about it is, though, that you're like, well, all these are gonna leave once I get walls. But when will that happen? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Or cover them up? Would you cover it up, or you're gonna have to like pull it out and then?
No, I'll just cover them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
everywhere.
That's my experience with passive income. I did the reels when the reels bonus thing was new.
Right. Yeah.
But that was like when it was brand new, so it was like it worked. It was good. It wasn't great, but I mean it was fine, and now I left it.
How much were you getting from it at the height of it?
I looked at my bookkeeping before we got on here, and I think the height of it it was like $1,000 in 1 year. So I mean it wasn't like monumental numbers, but I mean it was like an extra $1,000 for doing what I'm already doing. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like, didn't you do a challenge to yourself of trying to
Oh, I did.
post? I don't know if that was during the Reels bonus or if that was just
No.
a separate.
That was recently. No, I left the Reels program shortly after it came out, I think. But yeah, I challenged myself to post a reel every day for at least 2 weeks, and then I just kept going, and I made it like 5.5 weeks posting a reel every day.
Wow.
But it was a lot of like reposting old ones, so
Oh, okay. So it
it was
wasn't
like
completely
medium
original.
effort. Yeah, I would have gone crazy if I had to make a brand new one every day.
So what did you find out from that? Or were you just trying to challenge yourself to have something to post, or was it you had a goal in mind, or?
I just like seen all the videos of other people doing that, and they like gained like so many followers, and I felt like I wanted to get my work in front of some new people. So I was like, cool, post a bunch of reels, get new followers, new customers. And I think I got like 150 followers. But I got a lot of views, so it's like people saw it, which is what I wanted, but I didn't get the followers.
Yeah.
But also it
Did
was
you
just fun.
did you find some common thread of certain ones that did better than others and you kind of took away that
Yeah,
you're
like
using
doing
now?
doing like a voiceover went really well, or like here's how I did this went those did good. And then some were just random and you never know, but doing like a how to or like a voiceover or both was like the best.
Were you
But those,
experimenting with using any of those like trending audios that is either somebody talking and you're doing something to it, or it's an actual like music that's trending?
I usually just did the music that was trending. The people talking that took an extra level of effort I didn't have to give.
Yeah, I feel like with the consistency of doing it daily, you'd really have to be ahead of your game and spending a lot of time on Instagram to
Yeah.
get creative.
And like yeah, at the same time like still trying to like make as much stuff as I had been making.
Yeah.
Just keeping up and then adding that was a lot. But yeah.
Did it affect your making cycle? Did you find yourself working more consistently in the studio or like producing more, or you were happier with it? Like, did it affect any of your other parts of your life while you're doing that?
I think I actually made less stuff because I was spending more time on it, doing it. It was cool. People would be like, I love seeing your videos. They see me in public and like at the art shows and stuff and tell me how much they loved the videos and stuff, which was nice. But I was definitely not like physically producing as much as I was without making the post.
Hmm.
But
Hey guys, we are breaking up the podcast because we want to talk about our amazing sponsor, L&L, and we have some awesome things to talk about, especially now because NCECA is rolling up soon in late March, and so Ryan is going to tell you the kilns that they have available at NCECA for a discounted price that you are available to purchase if you so please.
Yep. All right. So if you're going to be in Richmond, Virginia between March 20th and 23rd for NCECA, we'd love to see you there. They are giving away the smaller kiln of the three that they have available. So this is the E18S3. This is a 2.5 cubic foot kiln. It goes to cone 10. They're giving it away.
Yeah, make sure you sign up for the drawing there.
Yeah, so you can stop by their booth anytime. I want to say between Wednesday, Thursday, early Friday, and I think they draw it Friday afternoon. So make sure to get entered in to win that. It's a good small size kiln. The next size up, which is the most popular, and actually the kiln that I got last year at NCECA, is the E23T3. That's their most popular kiln. It's a little over 6.5 cubic foot kiln going to cone 10 again. And that's a great one for if you're a studio potter or you just need something that's a good, workhorse for you. You can get bisqueware and glazeware through that, and it's a great kiln. I have two of that exact same kiln body. So, And then the last one they have is the EQ28273, which is a production level kiln, is kind of how they label it. It's a 10 cubic foot kiln, and again, that goes to cone 10. So all these go to cone 10. You got different sizes available. And if you would like to get your hands on one of those, and we can get you connected with L&L, you can reach out to us through Instagram or through email. If you can email us at wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com, we will get you connected with the folks over at L&L Kilns to give you more info so you can stop by.
Yeah. And all of those also have all of the Genesis controllers too, so that's really exciting as well. So, you're gonna also, if you need to look up pictures, you can go to hotkilns.com.
Yeah, thanks so much. Hope to see you at NCECA, and make sure to stop by and tell L&L we sent you. Thanks. And then I think when you shared the findings, I feel like that one was more popular than any of the other ones.
It was more popular than like all of them combined. It got like so many views and so many comments, and I got more followers from the reel about making reels than I did making reels. I was like,
isn't that how life is?
Yeah, I was like, you can't try to do it on purpose.
Nope.
Yeah, I think there's like bits and pieces.
I'm sorry, I just made you yawn.
I know, I caught your yawn.
Yeah, I think there's like bits and pieces where you're like, okay, I think that's a step in the right direction. Like, I can try and use that again. And then sometimes it like works and you're like, okay, I got a little bit more than I expected. And then sometimes it's like, okay, it must have been something else. It must have been timing, or there was something else that caught people's eye or distracted them, or I don't know.
Yeah. I've definitely tried reposting like my reels that have done really well, and sometimes they just like don't even do anything at all, and I'm like, okay. It's like, I tried.
I have a suspicion that like Instagram, when you're uploading videos, it knows that like the ID of the video you're uploading has already been in there, and they know.
Okay, yeah.
Like, they know that data when you're uploading stuff, so I'm
right.
Data. So I'm like, maybe they're choosing not to put, like, it's not reaching as many people because they know it's not like quote unquote original content.
Right. That would make sense.
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, I don't know if other. I mean, I was going to say some of those curated pages where they repost a bunch of stuff, but I don't know if they're doing something with it so that it becomes original, quote unquote.
Right.
But I don't know, it's a little, yeah. Social media game is just so weird.
It's weird. It's always changing.
So how do you like keep doing it with over this time? Because you pretty much started when you were started that business. So how do you keep it still fun for you?
I don't know. I just try not to take it too seriously, and I try not to put myself in a rigid box. It's like, if I don't want to post today, I'm not going to post today, and if I only want to post a picture, I'm just going to post a picture. And I feel like making a reel, I'll make a reel. If I don't want to post for 3 weeks, I'm not going to post for 3 weeks. And just deal with what happens afterwards. I guess try not to like put myself on a schedule. I don't do well with like a schedule because then it's like not fun.
How does it work with the like planning for online restocks or for shows? Like, how much do you see results from building up to the online restock? Is it like a 2-week window? Is like stories important when you're doing that, or just kind of sticking to posts with images? Or
that's a good point. I did forget about that. Yeah, I try to post. I guess I actually do have a posting schedule, kind of. I guess I have a posting schedule, but I don't like feel bad about myself if I don't do it. It does make a difference. In the summer, I try to post, because I do most of my art markets in the summer. I try to post about those like at least a couple days in advance so people can like make plans. And also sometimes it just takes a couple days for people to even see a post. Mm-hmm. And then the web restock is definitely a big difference. I tried to do a secret web restock one time, and I just like one, I sent it to my email subscribers. I did it with the wrong date, so that was a little confusing. But there was no online hype, and I sent it with the wrong date, and I think I had like 4 sales. I was like, I have to get another job. I was like, I have to quit ceramics. Oh no. And then I posted about it on social media, and it was fine. It was fine. I was like, okay, whew. So I try to. I mean, in an ideal world, I think I'd post like 2 weeks in advance, but the way my brain works, it's like, I gotta make an Instagram post. So sometimes it's just like 2 days before.
Well, some of it, it's like, what is the, like, I want to say, like, sexiest part of the process to build the hype? Is it like the finished work, or is it the process? Because the process is so early on that it's like, is glazing really that entertaining and like grabbing people's attention, or is it like throwing? But and then you're on a delayed schedule. You threw the things 2 or 3 weeks prior, and then you're like I don't know what like what's gonna move the needle,
Right. I think I do a lot of, this is not on purpose, it's the way it happens. I was thinking about this yesterday. I post a lot of like the process and the updates and my thoughts and my stories, and then I'll just put like the final product on my feed. And it's like, look what I made, I'm so excited. But like if you watch my stories, you get like the behind scoop and you know all about what went into it. I think people like to see posts where they see the whole process, like at least throwing to the final piece, like in the same post. I like those. That's very satisfying. But not always possible, because then you have to wait for it to be done.
Yeah, that takes forever.
Yeah.
When you do that, do you start with the finished piece and then you go through the process after that? So you're kind of like grabbing them with the finished, and then it's like, how did I get here? Or is it the build up?
I've tried both, and I haven't noticed I haven't really looked at it. No, like, significant difference has jumped out at me.
Okay.
But I know that if I'm watching a video and they show me the final piece, and then they go show me the process, I have less of an attention span because I know where it's going.
Okay. See, I really like Kenny's from Turn Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say he shows the finished piece and he's like, here's how I made this spiral design mug.
I mean,
and it's so detailed that you're like, okay, I gotta see how this happens.
Yeah.
But for some of us that throw production stuff, there's not too much guesswork. But maybe if it was a turtle mug or something like that, and it's like, okay, there's a little bit of mystery here. So I gotta see how it comes together. But
Kenny's next level. I like watch all of his videos. I'm like, what are you doing?
And that's like Kurt showing the beginning to the end. It's like, even slip casting these fancy forms, it's like, how do you even, that sounds like a nightmare to edit the post, period. But I mean, when you don't have to post that often and it works I know Kenny doesn't post that much, but it's like, man, you can really build that hype for this design. You're like, okay, I know what all goes into this. Like, it's worth whatever I'm going to get for this. And I know it's going to be in demand.
Yeah. Or, Dan Pierce, do you follow him?
No.
Dan Pierce. He's been.
Yeah.
You seen his bowl series?
Yeah.
He's like building the hype for the bowls, and I think that's working for him really well. I'm like, how do you have the self-control to wait?
Dan Pierce? P-I-E-R?
Yeah.
C-E?
P-E-A-R.
He is definitely... Yeah, P-A-R-C. He is definitely a potter for people who aren't potters.
Yeah. He shows you the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I saw he had a viral video recently with the price of the bowl, right?
And like the way he talks to like the camera, I'm just like, I can't.
No, I'm not that person.
I'm not that person, but it's
not
just like, I know it's like the best videos for somebody who has no idea what is going on,
Yeah.
See, the thing is, those kind of people give value to our art form because they're bringing it to the masses,
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for doing something we can't do. That's like Hope Lemansky.
Yeah. Lemansky Smith, yeah.
Yeah, she like she's the same type, like she's explaining things so thoroughly that, as a seasoned potter, you're like, I can't watch this because I know what she's gonna say next. But
Yeah.
I do watch videos. I do love them. But I'm sure, like, as somebody who knows nothing about pottery, it's so fascinating because she explains it so well.
I mean, it's like flipping through an encyclopedia, like a Potter's dictionary for her. Like you can find her collections and her series, and you can really dig into like one thing. You're like, okay, I need to figure out a new trimming tool, and you could just go to her thing and see all the different trimming tools and her reviews of all the different types out there and pros and cons, and like, it's such a resource. Wild. And
it's wild.
So many. Yeah, I think that's the power of the social media, what you can do with it. But I'm sure she gets bogged down in questions. So, because some of that is like, you're so open with that stuff, and then there's just your willingness to answer questions. Mm-hmm. And then you just get bogged down. You could just be answering questions all fucking day.
Yeah.
They're probably the same questions over and over.
I feel like when I'm not really in that situation very often, but if I think like maybe once or twice, I'll like the question that's asked the most, I'll just answer it once and then like pin it to the top. It's like, I hope you see this answer before you comment.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good approach.
That's like my happy medium.
Yeah. So I feel like you shared this a little bit about having some experience with kind of selling out online.
I used to.
And then how the shift has gone, because I feel like now do you feel like that's because your production has you've been more efficient, and or how do you kind of think about that? How has that shifted?
I have a lot of thoughts. I'm not really married to any one thought. I feel like I don't know. Let's see. I think I've been making the same kind of stuff for a while. And so like if you've been following me for a while, like there's a chance if you want something, you probably have it. Because also I've been able to make more. So there's more stuff available so more people can get it. So it's like if you want it, you probably have it. So it's like then I feel like I need to like find new people or like make new work. Also, I just think in COVID, everything was like support the small business, save the small businesses, and now like people are just back to normal, like buying their regular stuff.
Mm-hmm. Did you see a big influx in sales during 2020?
It was actually 2021 that I did.
Or were you still in the sellout model during that time period?
Yeah. I think I stopped selling out probably like 2022, but was still like pretty good. And then last year it was like very slow, 2023. But,
so were you having similar restock? Let's say your restock was 50 pieces. 2021 you would have been selling out. 2022 maybe you sold 40 of the 50.
Yeah, or I would like maybe put 75 on there and like 60 would sell, and now it's probably like I put 100 and maybe like 50 sell.
Okay.
No, it's just like more stuff. Also, I have more expenses, so stuff has gone up a little bit in price too. And shipping went up and all that stuff.
Have you had to shift your prices pretty frequently along that time period?
A little, yeah. I haven't changed them for like 2 years now, I think. But before that, I was just constantly adjusting for everything. Mm-hmm. Like the new studio, an employee, had a second employee for a while, the insurances and stuff. And then also just, I always say I don't work this hard to make minimum wage. Like we deserve a living wage.
So were you adjusting? How are you finding a way to sell those pieces? Because I would guess you're relying on X number of pieces to sell, or all of them to sell. How are you finding a way to get them out the door?
That's where I'm at right now, is finding the answer to that question. I think I've been pretty lucky. I've been in business for like 7 years, and I never really had to like super duper try to advertise or sell. I just like posted on Instagram, and that worked for a long time. And I think it's time to try something new. I'm learning what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into advertising, and I was like, I found some magazines I could buy an ad in, and I was like, well, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna explore like Facebook ads and or boosting posts and.
You should listen to the episode we did with Will Donovan recently. He shared about how he was doing sponsored
He's
posts.
so inspiring. Oh my gosh, I love his posts.
Yeah, he's it was a great episode.
Definitely, yeah, I'll have to listen to it. I'm gonna put it in my.
I'm trying to see which episode number it is for people out there that are listening and did not listen to it as well. Episode 233 is Paid Advertising Worth It? With Will Donovan from Donovan Pottery.
Nice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to go with it. Like, I guess in one way it allows you more stock so that you can, if you were to pick up a small show, like I don't know the show season where you're at. I would guess April through October, kind of like you're talking about people swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's the peak of when shows are happening. So, picking up small shows here and there, or your farmers market that you do the farmers market pretty regularly. Is that what the Downey farmers market?
Yeah.
Are you doing mostly that is your markets that you're doing throughout the year, or are you doing additional ones that are nearby or, within a reasonable drive?
Yeah, so I was only doing the Dowdy Park for a while, and then they cut the season by like 8 shows, I think.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there was issues. It's like you park at the elementary school when you go to Dowdy Park, and people were parking at the school while kids were in school, and then like the buses couldn't get through, people couldn't pick up their kids, so they made it like when school's out. I was like, that makes sense.
Okay, because it's during the day. It's not a weekend farmers market.
Right. Yeah, it's like a Thursday. It's like the middle of the week. So that cutting that back made a big difference. But then it also went to weekly, and every week is a lot to keep up with. So yeah, last year I introduced a couple new shows. I did one. Yeah, I did a couple new shows last year, and that was good. It was good to like broaden the horizons. I also
were those jury shows, or were they other markets that you could like some of those, I want to say like craft market or indie market, where you can apply with your website and your social media, but you don't really have super high like jury application kind of stuff?
Right, yeah. So the Dowdy's juried, but all the other ones I did are kind of like on an invite basis.
Okay.
So they'd be like, hey, you want to do the show? And I'm like, yeah, I could probably squeeze another one in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm at with all the shows. There are some that you can just apply to, but I try not to overwhelm myself with art shows. Because the Dowdy Park once a week is already. I only do Dowdy Park in the summer. I'm like, I can't handle 2 shows a week.
Right. Do you have staff that you would have do that for you if you had to do another show?
Yeah.
Given that you have the stock for it.
Yeah, we've been in that situation a couple times. I think maybe only one time. And like my mom did one show and me and Megan were at the Dowdy Park. And that was stressful.
Yeah.
That was stressful trying to be like, I have inventory for 2 shows in the middle of summer. But yeah, I like going to the shows. I like being there and like representing my work. I have a hard time letting go of that and just having someone go on my behalf. I also have noticed sales are a little different when you're not there to represent your work, because it's like, oh, are you the artist? No, but I work for them. It's a little less moment for the customer.
And I would guess you probably have seen, if you've been at all the shows, you've seen all the faces of people that are local that have come and seen you. So if you have somebody else representing you, they're not going to see your face, so they're going to be less likely to maybe engage or come over and say hi.
Yeah. Granted, though, it's usually Megan or my mom with me, and they know them by now at this point. But yeah, definitely would agree with that.
Okay. Would you be? I know it says like no wholesaler commissions. Would you be open to wholesale at some point?
I actually did. So when I first got started in my parents' garage, my mom had a friend who owns an art gallery, and her name is Eve. And Eve put me in contact with a lady who had pottery studio equipment she wasn't using. And that lady let me borrow it. So that's like how I got started at my own studio. And so Eve holds a dear place in my heart for that. And last year I was finally able to give her some work for her art gallery.
Oh, okay. Is that wholesale or is that commission?
It's commission.
Or consignment is what I meant.
Consignment, yeah. And then so that actually went really well. People were messaging me. They're like, I found your work in this art gallery. I'm like, wow, okay, cool. And it's a different part of the beach. It's like 30, 45 minutes up the road. So I think this year I want to try getting into a second gallery. But it's just the commission cut is a bit of a bummer, but I'm trying to look at it as advertising.
Yeah, I mean, in one way, if you have the stock for it,
yeah,
you kind of only have so much, like you're talking about the shows, you only have so much that you can put into effort of selling it one-to-one with somebody. So if you could put it in another brick and mortar and they take a cut, like maybe it works.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's gathering dust. But maybe some of the paid advertising, it's kind of a cross section of different options that you can sample, right?
Yeah. So I liked having my stuff on consignment in her place. That worked out last year. So I want to do that more this year. And maybe hopefully a second. But I hate they rely on you to have the product, and I hate when she asks for more and I'm like, I don't have anything. So it's just it's always what I think is gonna happen isn't what happens.
Yeah, that's a trade-off, right? You hope that you can fulfill them without them being kind of a pest to you, but also you're like, I get it. Like, I want to supply you, but I can only do so much. And
yeah, and she's nice. She understands all that, so it's a good relationship.
And
but
it's close by.
It's hard to
so
juggle.
You have to do a bunch of extra work to get it there and all that.
Right. I definitely can't imagine. I see some people shipping wholesale orders. I'm like, how are you doing this?
It's easy. It's easy once you get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with having them pay the shipping price, I mean that's nice, but I really hate the packing part of wholesale because I'm like, I gotta make sure this shit does not break. They paid for it. Like, I don't want anything to break because I don't want to have to ship out another box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Becca shipped some big wholesale orders. She's even dropped some wholesale orders on accident.
Oh my god.
Out my car. Out the back of my car.
No, that's so sad.
Did they break?
Oh no, it was totally fine. Because when you pack wholesale orders, you pack them really well. And I left my studio, and it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll do the best I can. So there's two routes to the post, the mail drop, where we could take the packages. One was up a hill, and then you'd take a right onto a highway, and the other was through town. And I don't know why I decided to do up a hill and not through town. But it was like a mile away. I could have walked, it's not that far. And when I was accelerating to get onto the I chose the route through the highway, and when I was accelerating onto the highway, I accidentally forgot to close the back hatch of my vehicle. And because I always drive with the windows open anyway, I didn't notice.
It's like a Forester, right? It was like a Forester.
Yeah, it was a Forester. And so then it fell out of my car. And I was in a hurry because my uncle and my sister were on their way to have lunch with me. So it fell out of my car. Then I got to the post office or the mail drop place, and I was like, oh shit. And then
you back there to open your trunk. It's already
I closed the trunk. I went back. I retraced my steps, and it was not there at all. It was nowhere to be found. And I like was going back and forth and back and forth. And this is a small town with a fair amount of homeless people. So I was like, of course. Like one of the homeless people like took the package and I don't know what they're doing with it. It's like I can't even sell my own work. Like how are they doing it? And then while I'm driving trying to find it, somebody called me and I remember answering the phone and saying, "Hi, this is Becca. Do you have my package?" And like knowing that they like picked it up. And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Do you want to meet at Home Depot?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So I got it, and only the corner was like smashed in. It was a 20 by 20, maybe 24 box. It had 60 mugs in it. No.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And they were all okay.
Yeah, because it had like, yeah, everything was fine. And what was funny about it was that like I was already late on that order, and I just like stuffed things into the corner to make it more sturdy. And I messaged the buyer and I was like, "Here's the deal. It fell out of my car. If anything's broken, just let me know. I'll make a few extras just in case." And it was fine.
Wow.
Totally fine.
How much were you freaking out? Were you calm or were you freaking out?
I don't really freak out all that much.
No.
I think during the time that I lost it, I was a little freaked out. But my name, like Five Lines Pottery, and I think my phone number was on the box. So, yeah. And, like, the people in town are really good. Like, where I was. They're just good people.
Nice.
So I was like, somebody's going to find it.
Oh, my God.
Like, you can't haul away, like, a 20 by 20 box, like, without knowing. And what had happened is that he thought the exact same thing. Like, it fell out of my car and he was behind me and he was like, some homeless person's going to pick this up. And so he jumped out and put it in his car. And yeah.
So. I thought maybe he took it out because he thought somebody was going to run over it because I'm guessing it was right in the middle of the driving area.
It was that too. I'm sure it was that too, but
I couldn't imagine the aftermath of seeing someone absolutely demolish a 20 by 20 box with 60 mugs in it.
Oh my god.
What would that do to the vehicle?
Just shards
it might
everywhere.
48 mugs. It might have been 40. Wait, was it 4 designs or was it 3 designs? I think it was 12 of each, so yeah.
That would have been a sight to be seen. Oh my god.
I would have been panicking for sure. Mega panic.
Yeah, and then I'm texting my like 78-year-old uncle who barely can like function with an electronic device, and I'm texting him and being like, "I'm gonna be late." I know you've never visited my pottery studio before, but I'm gonna be late.
My box fell out of my trunk on the road.
On the road because my door was open, because that's the kind of life I live. Now, here's the kicker. If I would have just gone Main Street, never would have fallen out of my car. It would have stayed. It would have just stayed where it was. It would have been fine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you might have got a couple honks or something and be like, "Hey, your trunk's open," but
right. I probably would have found out because somebody would have like told me.
Yeah.
I can imagine you being at a stoplight, somebody's just yelling like, "Hey, your trunk is open."
That's like the breadstick story. Like
the breadstick story? Oh, the guy that was next to you, right?
Yeah.
I
had a guy one time. Yeah. You're gonna like this story. I had a guy. It's kind of like that. It's not really like that, but it's the whole idea of like everything. All of my windows were open in my van or in my Subaru because it was like August in Indianapolis and I didn't have AC in my van, in my car. And so I always got pizza on Thursdays, and it was like right next to work. And I'd pick it up and I'd drive home and I'd always get breadsticks and eat a breadstick on my way home. And I'm like at this stoplight, stopped, obviously, at the stoplight, and I turn like my whole body to like get a breadstick, and I'm like, I put a breadstick in my mouth and I'm facing the passenger side window where the breadsticks are, obviously, and I look up and there's this guy just staring at me. in the car next to me. He's just staring at me, and we're like maybe 5 feet away from each other because we're downtown, and I look up and I have this breadstick, and I was like, "You want one?" And because I couldn't think of anything else to say, and he was like, and of course this motherfucker like turns it into something awful. He's like, "No, I want you," and I was like,
No.
and immediately I go, "Nope, that's not an option." And
you just like edge up your car 5 feet. You're like,
and I did. I like edged up my car so that I didn't have to like see him, but I couldn't like close my windows. Like that's not an option either because it was so hot. So, yeah.
He could have just taken the breadstick.
I know. That would have been such a fun moment if I just tossed a breadstick through the streets of Indianapolis to another guy in a truck. But he had to make it weird.
Yeah. Would have been so good.
weirdo.
God damn it.
This feels like a good story to end on. I feel like that's a good way to cap it off.
I liked that story. That was very good.
Yeah. Well, if you ever need any stories to make you feel better about your life, just hit me up. Because I got a lot of them.
Perfect.
But say hi first, please.
Yeah, I will always say hi.
She's gonna drop in your DMs and just be like, "Hey Becca, tell me a funny story."
Yeah, I'll be like,
tell
me a funny story. No hellos. Like, I'm stressed. Make me laugh, please.
You have a different cup now. That's a different cup.
Yeah, there was beer in this cup and water in this cup.
Oh. Started with beer and then went to the water. Okay.
This one's cool. It's by, I think, Red Alder Studios.
That's cool.
It's kind of topographical.
That's what I was going to say.
It's like my favorite cup. I'm pretty sure it's Red Alder. Yeah.
Red Alder.
Love
my
that.
fave.
So are you mixing up your styles this year? It sounds like you're kind of trying some different things. Is that that creative as well as just you got to see the customer side of things? And
I think it's like they just happen to go hand in hand this time. I mean to make new things, I think, for people, but also for me. And so, yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. I mean, the checkers, that takes a long time. I don't know how long I'll be doing that once the busy season picks up.
Yeah.
Well, if you keep doing it, maybe get an air pen or something like that to help with the squeeze bottle situation. At least for the.
She said, "What's an air pen?"
Oh, it's it's like a pressurized pen that it's originally made for frosting, for like writing frosting, and you just put your finger over a hole and that shoots out the glaze so that you don't have to squeeze it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like $100 worth every penny if you're doing stuff, but the only issue is that the cartridges are really small. But if you have one color that's very consistently like, you're using, you can have 2 cartridges and switch them out very easily. Ooh. And so, yes, I would recommend that. It's called Silk Air Pen. And I think that I probably at this point should have a code, but I don't. So Renee Lepresti does. Renee Lepresti has a code for hers. I think you can get like 10% off.
Sweet. Thanks.
Are you going to NCECA this year? Have you gone to NCECA?
No, which is a bummer.
It's not super far from you, I don't think, right?
It's really close to me this time. Yeah, I'm not going this year. My dog broke her leg. That was in surgery, and I'm getting married, and I gotta go on a honeymoon, and that's all my money.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
How far is Richland?
Richmond?
It's
Richmond?
only like Richmond.
That's what I meant.
Or Richland.
Richville. Where's how far is Richville?
Yeah. It's only like 3.5 hours.
Well, you should just come up one night and not pay a ticket and just hang out with people. and then drive back.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people get the airpins at the show. I don't know if it's discounted at the show, but that's what I was gonna.
It is discounted.
We're gonna be there.
If you want me to get you an airpin at the show, I'll get you an airpin at the show, and then we can just mail it to you.
Hook me up with an airpin, please. I know, I'm excited to look that up. That sounds super cool. Are you guys going
I have
to
one.
Antigua?
Yep, we'll be there.
Nice.
Ryan makes us go every year.
Makes us go. What are you talking about? We get a free ticket because we're demoing with Ensika.
You sign us up without even asking me.
Ben Carter asked me, and I'm like, am I going to pass up this trip to Ensika for free?
Sure
and then
not.
we get to demo with other people? And
No, I'm kidding. I'm just giving him a hard time. I don't mind. If it's free, I don't mind.
Right.
Yeah, in a way, I feel like it's a good. It feels overwhelming because of the time of year, and I'm like getting ramped up for spring and everything. But if I didn't have any of those, Click on West or Ensika, it would feel. I mean, if I was doing it full time, I would feel like, man, I am really struggling to get through these months because it's so slow sales wise. But I feel like it mixes it up and kind of
something else to look forward to too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I get. I think I kind of get invigorated getting home to like get back to work and get in the studio and get busy. More so than getting like inspired. It's more like fuel to get me excited about it.
A little bit of motivation.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, when there's not like shows in the short term, it's kind of like, what am I making all this stuff for?
Yep.
It's a long game, but
it is a long game.
I ask that question to myself every day.
What am I making this for?
Relatable.
Cool. Okay, we'll end on that.
Yeah.
No, where can people find you, Melanie?
Oh, on Instagram at Swell Ceramics, or Facebook Swell Ceramics, or www.swellceramics.com.
Look at that consistent.
So consistent.
Yeah.
I tried.
Right. Melanie, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you. So fun.
Yeah, good luck this year. Good luck with the wedding planning, all that stuff, honeymoon. That's a huge task.
Yes. I'm excited.
Have fun.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.